Hey, horror fans, Pete here from the Lasser Cast, and we have a very special guest with us today. We have Dr. Zayas God, Danny Torkel's wife, Miss Athena Torkel. Welcome to the show.
Okay.
Athena joined us when we covered The Stand when it was on the Paramount or CBS streaming, whatever the hell it was, and we had a lot of fun talking about that show together. She is a big Stephen King fan. We also talked about Needful Things at one point with her as well.
Yes.
So today, since the big news of the week was that Mike Flanagan is going to be adapting The Dark Tower, we decided to have a little fun activity here and fan cast who's going to play each of the main characters. So you guys excited for this today?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Oh crap. Nope, I broke it. Yeah, I feel like this has been something that, like, since Mike Flanagan made his first Stephen King adaptation, that like people have been like, I know that like we've talked about this, like, oh my god, he should do a Dark Tower, and then they made that terrible movie, and they made there were all sorts of talks. Like, I listened to the King cast with Glenn Mazzara, and Glenn Mazzara was in talks to do a Dark Tower series.
Okay.
But I kind of wasn't. I don't know if you ever heard that, but I wasn't really digging what he was talking about. He was talking about doing like a long prequel series where like season 1 would be like Roland's backstory, and I'm like, no, like I since the Lord of the Rings came out, I've never understood if like the Lord of the Rings books can be turned into 3 movies that won Oscars.
Yeah.
Why has there been so much pushback about taking the most marketable author of the last 50 years and his Lord of the Rings-esque series,
right,
and turning it into either a trilogy of movies or 7 individual movies, a la like Harry Potter, or just doing one of these epic Amazon series or HBO series like that we like probably would have been 5 years ago. It always baffled me that they couldn't get this right. And finally with Flanagan and Trevor Macy moving to Amazon, it's like, this is like, oh.
I thought the casting of the movie 2017 movie, was it 2017? Always thought the original, the Roland and the Man in Black was a pretty decent choice, casting choice. It's just the movie itself that wasn't that great.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
I was like, if you never read The Dark Tower, it's fun.
Right.
Yeah, let's take this epic 7 to 8 book series and turn it into a 90-minute movie that takes place after all the books. Yeah.
It's pretty rough.
So
just to give you guys a heads up, you're kind of frozen while you're talking on my end, so I can't like see your faces. I can't kind of like gauge like, oh, are they going to talk or not? So if I step on anyone's toes, just don't take it personal and feel free to talk.
All right. Yeah, you're moving fine on our end.
Oh, good. All right, cool.
You think it's because of that?
What?
Oh no, that's your.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
It's all good in the hood. As long as I can hear your as long as I can hear your awesome suggestions for Dark Tower people, we're all good. So
Okay.
I actually pulled some of my friends who are either like voracious readers or writers themselves, and they gave some suggestions for the casting as well. I'm not going to say who suggested which casting because I don't know. Sometimes writers are kind of weird, like, you reference them or something, and then they just stop talking to you. So I'm not going to say who suggested each casting person or whatever. But if they're watching this and if they want to comment and say, hey, I suggested this person, go ahead. But we broke it down into basically 2 categories. We're going to name the actor that we suggest, and then what's the likelihood that they actually will be in this show. So I was thinking, you guys want to get us started with Odetta / Susanna?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, and one last thing I want to say too is just for people that have never seen, or I'm sorry, who've never read the Dark Tower books, we might be talking spoilers, so you guys have been warned at this point.
Yes, but we will not give the ultimate spoiler. So, ever.
Perfect. All right. All right, well, go ahead, guys. Take it away. Tell us who would play Odetta / Susanna.
Do you want to give your suggestions first?
Yeah, maybe I mispronounced her name. I feel like Denai Gora would be a great choice. She's so Michonne from The Walking Dead, and
Yes.
from Wakanda,
Forever.
yeah. I don't know if no, I think she's the right age. I think she's versatile enough to play the nice and the crazy,
Yeah,
Odetta and Susanna.
that is
when
excellent
I
choice.
when I first read the Dark Tower, it was probably when I first read the Gunslinger. At least the first 3 books. I was in college, so it was probably like very early 2000s, and yeah, there you go. And all I could think of as I was reading it was Angela Bassett. It's Angela
Oh.
Bassett. She has to be. But as horrible as this might be to say, I think Angela Bassett has aged out of the character.
Sure.
Especially considering that like Detta and Odetta, Susanna ends up in a relationship with like a 20-something-year-old guy. You know,
Right.
it could have been the Angela Bassett of when she got her groove back.
Yeah.
But
I mean, she still looks great,
Yeah,
and I
no.
think that she could pull off anything. So, but
So
Yeah.
Pete, I'll give you somebody who is somebody we talk about a lot. Since we covered the Peripheral
I
on
know where you're going. Yeah.
Comic Books Transformed, and somebody
Right.
who has possible likelihood because of her relation to the Mike Flanagan universe, and that's Tanaya Miller, who was amazing in The Haunting of Blind Manor. She is playing this really cool villainous character on the Peripheral right now, but she is a phenomenal actress, and I think she could be very good in the character. And then, do you want me to just read off the rest of the list of names that I have, and then you can give us yours?
Yeah, sure. This is just for Susanna.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, go
Yeah.
nuts.
So I put. I think she's a little bit too young, maybe, but I've watched all of Euphoria, and I'm convinced Zendaya can do anything.
Okay.
yeah,
Lupita Nyong'o, I think would be perfect,
Ooh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
she's already
Yeah.
she's already shown in the movie Nope. No, that's not true. In the movie Us,
There you go.
that she can play
Yeah.
2 versions of the same character and like be Oscar caliber. And she's an Oscar-winning actress to begin with, so I think she would be absolutely perfect. Cynthia Erivo was she played Harriet Tubman in the movie Harriet.
Oh, okay. Sure.
And she's a fantastic actress. I think she can do this part really well. I like the idea of maybe somebody like Issa Rae, who has like a lot of comedy background
Yeah.
in her. So I think that would be a little bit fun to do that.
Okay.
And then I
Because
put
Detta is funny. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
crazy as
Absolutely.
she is.
And then the reason I said Nope instead of Us is because I added Keke Palmer to the list also. Because I think I loved her role in Nope. And I feel like that type of performance can like lend itself well to this character. What?
She wasn't one of my top choices, but I didn't see Nope.
Right.
So all I know her from is really the Disney Channel or
Oh.
like Nickelodeon. Where she, yeah. But if she was really that great in a horror movie,
Yeah.
it proved she could do
Look,
both.
If I was if I was hired to cast, I would probably say Lupita Nyong'o would be my number one choice.
Yeah. That's a
But
good
I
one.
also feel like that maybe because she's already done a role like
Mhm.
Us, where she's
Right.
played the dual role, that she might not want to typecast herself into that type of character. But yeah, as far as Flanagan, I'd love to see Tanaya Miller in there, but I think she's probably an outside chance.
Right. That's actually some inspired casting, I think, from both of you guys. And there's a range. Like I put, like there's a very high chance this person will get cast. There's a low chance. There's a very low chance. There's a medium chance. And you guys kind of covered that whole range. I also had Tanai Miller myself, just because I'm thinking that he's going to draw from the Flana family first before he draws from other actors. But then suggestions that my friends had, my one friend said Shanola Hampton, who I didn't recognize her name, but she's this actress from Shameless, and I'm guessing that she
Oh,
must
I
be
know
real
her.
good on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That another suggestion another friend had was Regina King. I put her as pretty low. I don't think that Regina King. Like the thing with casting, right, is that everyone fan casts. Everyone's like, oh, this guy should play Professor X and this guy should play Spider-Man. But
Right.
like they never end up casting the people that you think are very obvious. So I feel like they see something in someone and maybe like contractually works to get the specific person. But I just don't think we're gonna get like someone like Regina King. Someone we
Although
might get. Go ahead.
she was great in Watchmen, and that's like an out there genre piece. What network was that on? That was
HBO.
HBO. Yeah,
Yes.
she was fantastic in that. So she was actually somebody who I looked up, and I was like, ooh, maybe Regina King too. But
Yeah.
I also think that they're gonna, we're picking our fantasy cast, but I think that he's probably going to go with a famous Man in Black, and then then maybe a famous Roland, and then have like unknowns for the rest, or just have like 1-2 characters be like really famous actors, and then the rest be like unknowns, but like well acted.
I think you're 100% on the money there. I think that, the Man in Black is probably going to be the biggest name. Roland maybe the second biggest name, or just Roland as the biggest one. And just to kind of round off my Odetta suggestions I've gotten from people, I got Zazie Beetz, who played Domino in Deadpool 2. I also got Rebecca Jessel, that's another suggestion from me, right? Because she was on Bly Manor, right?
isn't that the character name?
Oh, fuck. So, but isn't that an African American character?
I know. Yeah, she was the she was Peter's girlfriend. It wasn't like Miss Jessel, the name of the nanny.
Okay, right. She's
the actress who played her, though. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I actually looked her up too, and she was really good in Bly Manor.
Right. So I'm thinking like Tanai Miller or her. Like, there's more of a chance just because they've worked with Flanagan before,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our selection for Susanna / Odetta, and that's a big spoiler in itself, just that she has 2 names. But now we can move on to Eddie. I have 3 suggestions, but I'd love to hear y'all's suggestions for Eddie.
After that,
Eddie was the one we struggled with the most because, Eddie in the books is, when we meet him, is like very early 20s. And my problem is when I think of actors who are in their 20s, I think of actors from 20 years ago who were my age in movies.
Right.
So like Athena said, oh, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I'm like, Athena, he's my age. Like he's probably a few years older than me. I'm 40. Like I think of him as a 23-year-old.
He still looks like a 23-year-old.
But I think of him as a 23-year-old because I grew up watching Third Rock from the Sun.
Right.
And 10 Things I Hate About You. So we kind of struggled with this. Like we
both think that Timothée Chalamet could be a contender for it.
I think Timothée Chalamet is way too famous, and I think he's already doing Dune, which kind of is
Stephen King-ish.
It's too much of that guy, like world building, like uber fantasy extravaganza. I don't know if he would be. I put, as somebody who's connected to the Flanagan universe, I put Igby Rigney, who was in Midnight Mass, and he was also Kevin in the Midnight Club. And he looks like he's 13, but he's actually 19 now. And I thought that if if this production gets started in the next year or so, he'll be 20, almost 21 years old. And he has that like youthful vibe. to him obviously being a teenager.
Yeah.
He's a little young, but he's connected to the Flanagan universe.
Yeah.
And I really liked him on Midnight Club. I thought he was one of the best of the casted characters there.
Yeah.
You know, Zendaya made me think of Jacob Elordi. Is that how you pronounce his last name? The one who he might be. No, I don't think he'll be too handsome. I think they have to have a really handsome guy,
Yeah.
or you know, in there. And I don't think it could be Roland or the Man in Black. You know, because I was like, when we get to it, I was like Brad Pitt, Bradley Cooper, but they're just too handsome and will detract from the story.
Right.
But he's really really tall. He's really handsome. He's thin. He could. I don't know if you ever saw him in Euphoria.
No, I
and he was in like the kissing booth, but
oh, you're talking about the asshole kid from Euphoria?
Yes.
Oh, I hate him.
But I think he plays strung out, and then hero afterwards. I think he can do it. It's just a weird thing that had come to me, or maybe I read it somewhere.
No, and you know what? These casting choices from you guys very inspired, like, because you're not picking like super obvious people, and I think that's much more likely that they would cast one of these people.
Yeah, like when Athena and I first started talking about it, she Bullet Train was like on the screen because like Netflix was on, and she was like, Brad Pitt, he's so handsome, he would be Roland. And I'm like, don't you remember what happened when they made the movie Troy? Nobody cared about Greek history because Brad Pitt was running around in a thong. Right. It's like that's so you can't do that.
Right.
I just want to throw out one more name for Odetta.
Sure.
Who I had looked up and I forgot to write down, and it's from a show that we covered, Pete. Journey Smollett from Lovecraft Country.
Oh, yes.
She also her character in Lovecraft Country like goes through a bunch of like craziness and is forced to, she dresses the part really nice, and then she's forced to like dress down very much. So she came across as somebody who's worked in like genre productions before.
Yeah. No, wait a minute. Now that's the one that played Black Canary, right, in the Birds of Prey movie.
Yes.
Because you know what, her sister on Lovecraft Country would actually be really good too.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
That one that was from His House.
His House.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Yeah, really good choices. You guys are impressing me this morning over here. So we can transition to the Eddie suggestions.
Well, who did you have for Eddie?
Right.
Yeah.
So here's my Eddie suggestions from my friends. I actually myself did not have a good Eddie suggestion. And just to give everyone a little preface here, I didn't have a lot of time to pick my own Dreamcast, so that's why I took from other people. But here's the first one. I gotta throw this one away. Even my friend said this is too much, but like Keanu Reeves, I'm like, nah. That's not gonna work.
He's way too old.
Yeah. I don't
love him.
Yeah. I got multiple people saying Walter Goggins, which I think that's inspired casting. However, I do think he's too old for the part.
He's too old. He is a great actor. He could probably be the Man in Black if he wanted to.
That is what I was thinking. I was thinking he should be the Man in Black. Yes.
Yeah. I can't remember anything, but the guy who plays Dream in the Neil Gaiman series, like too. He looks like he could, look like a strung out. I mean, I always pictured Eddie as being a handsome, strung out man. Young man, who was funny and who was strong enough to be with Detta.
Right.
Athena said if he wasn't like batshit crazy and in trouble all the time, Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
I know she's got a thing for Ezra Miller,
yeah.
So I lied. I actually did have a suggestion for Eddie myself too. I was thinking that this makes it likely Zach Gilford, right, from Midnight Mass, and he was also in Midnight Club, right? I was thinking that maybe they would have him because he's part of the Flanagan family too.
And I'll give you another one, and it's somebody who in the Mike Flanagan universe played a strung out person, right. Oliver Jackson Cohen. I actually had him on my list for Roland, but the more we're talking about it, he's not that old. He's probably in his like early 30s.
Right.
I think he would actually he was Peter in Bly Manor,
Right.
and he was the brother who kills himself in
Not to give out a spoiler.
no in Haunting of Hill House.
Oh.
No, he died. Doesn't he get OD in Haunting of Hill House?
He at the very
He's
end.
the twin.
Yeah. Does he die at the very end?
Spoiler.
Yeah, yeah,
It's been out for years.
yeah.
So is this.
No, but like he played like a drug addict in that, and he's been in multiple Mike Flanagan series already. I feel like he would be good. He's probably a little too old for like the character written on the page, but I still think, you know, as long as they're within like, you know, a decade, you know, with movie magic and Amazon money, they can make anybody look old or young.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have anybody else for Eddie?
That's all I had. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we have too.
I have two Jakes. Can I do my two Jakes first, and then y'all go?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
All right, here comes
I
the
think
two.
I think we're gonna have the same ones, but go ahead.
Okay. So I got one that my friend suggested and one that I suggested. Okay. My friend said Jacob Tremblay for Jake, but I feel like maybe
He
he's
was our number one.
Okay. Then here's my number one, Julian Hillard.
Yep, there you go. He's cast done.
Okay.
I looked it up and I'm like, oh my god, he's actually 11 years old. That's it. He's cast. It's done.
Right.
Yeah, he played young Luke in The Haunting of Hill House, and he was Wanda. He was Billy on WandaVision and in the Doctor Strange movie. He's has like a crazy amount of work done for a kid who's 11 years old.
Yeah,
and
for even you and me, we've covered multiple things with him. We Color Out of Space and
that's right.
The Conjuring 3.
Yeah,
He's probably gonna get cast.
yeah.
I had three little choices that I was like, maybe, you know, because you know, if these other kids aren't available. I have Parker Bates or Lonnie Chavez from This Is Us, who play young Kevin and young Randall. I don't know if your fan base knows them, but they're really good kid actors, like really believable, acted like the adults but in child form. Like it was really they were really excellent, and
Awesome.
They're the right age, and they've proven they could do a multi-season arc, because that's what This Is Us was, back in time and forward and backwards and stuff like that. And then the kid who played young Danny in Dr. Sleep, maybe.
Yes.
Roger Dale Floyd. Yeah.
The only other name I had was Benjamin Evan Ainsworth, and he played Miles, Flora's brother, in The Haunting of Bly Manor.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah.
And he just did the voice of Pinocchio in Zemeckis's Pinocchio, not the one that Guillermo del Toro did. Yeah. Which I haven't watched yet. But Benjamin Evan Ainsworth. He was another young Flanagan actor. But I think I actually would be shocked if Julian Hillard doesn't get this role.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, looks like we got our Jakes covered. We're coming down to the final two here, and I think this is where it gets the most controversial. This is the two roles that everyone is the most excited about. So I figured we'd do the man. We'll do the man.
I'm sorry. I want to do one more thing before we get to the two main characters.
Yeah.
For Oi, Sean Gunn.
Oh, okay. Nice. All right. Yeah. That's inspired. Yeah. It's either him or Andy Serkis, right? So.
Yeah. I'm like, who's gonna play Oi? Yeah, Andy Serkis would be great.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. He's got experience as a raccoon, so Oi, that's a good choice. All right. So then with our Oi covered, then we have the Man in Black, and then we also have Roland. So I figured we'd do the Man in Black next and save Roland for last.
All
so why don't you guys give me some of your Man in Black choices?
My first choice, and if I was casting, Willem Dafoe.
Okay.
There's probably no one on earth who just looks more naturally evil than Willem Dafoe, but he also like he also is captivating when he talks.
Mhm.
And I think, and like, did you see The Lighthouse?
I have not.
Oh,
Not yet.
okay. Well, I won't spoil another casting decision I might have, but yes, Willem Dafoe as the Man in Black, I think would be. He was one of my top choices. What about you? Who's yours?
My top choice. Well, besides, I liked the casting of Alexander Skarsgård and even Matthew McConaughey. I thought when I heard both of them, I was like, yeah. They may be too handsome.
Right.
But I thought, and although he looks a little old now, I had Viggo Mortensen and Sean Bean in my head.
Mhm.
Oh no, wait, I think I had Sean Bean as Roland, but I think you could do either one.
Those are
Viggo.
yeah.
Pete, did you ever see the early '90s movie The Prophecy with Christopher Walken?
I have not, but I think that a lot of people have because I got multiple people recommending Vigo. And he plays
Okay,
Lucifer
because
in that, right?
he is, and I've gone on record, he's the greatest devil I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
He's not on screen very much. He has like maybe 2 scenes,
Yeah.
but every line of dialogue he has in that movie is ridiculously memorable. And he's like, if deliciously evil would be exactly how I would describe him in that. And I could see him, especially now that he's gotten a little bit older. You saw Crimes of the Future, right?
Not yet. I will though.
Oh, come on. He's starting to show his age a little bit. He's in like
Sure.
his early 60s.
Sure.
And I feel like that benefits the Man in Black because like Randall Flagg in The Stand is supposed to be this like cowboy, good looking enough to seduce a woman kind of character. The
Yeah.
Man in Black always struck me as like this like caped, covered,
But he was the sorcerer, right?
yeah, this
early.
being.
Right.
And like he shouldn't exactly be good looking, especially at the beginning. So I like the idea of like an older Viggo Mortensen for this.
Yeah. Good
We have a
suggestion.
few more, but do you want to shout out some of yours?
Yeah. So multiple people I talked to suggested Vigo, and I think it is all based on the prophecy. The one that I came up with was another person from the Flana family. He played a villain or a villainous character recently, Hamish Linklater as the Man in Black.
I think you said that.
I mentioned that the other day.
Yeah.
I did. He was so good in Midnight Mass. I actually shocked he didn't get an Emmy nomination for that, but he was somebody I brought up in conversation. I didn't write his name down, but I definitely brought him up the other day.
And then this is the first instance because this is someone I thought of right before we started recording. There's this one actor. He's a Native American. He was in Westworld, and he was in Doctor Sleep. He was in The True Knot.
Oh,
Did he play Crow?
I'm sorry. What's his name?
Did he play Crow?
are you talking the guy who played Crow Daddy?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Crow Daddy. Yeah.
Yeah, he would be.
Right. He's in the Fargo TV series too, and he's really good in that. Everything he's in, he's phenomenal in. And I just thought of him right before we started recording. I didn't look him up, but yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. He was really good in Doctor Sleep.
Yeah. So why don't you give me
yeah.
some more of your people?
So, okay, I'm going to ask you if you've seen another horror movie.
here
Have
we
you
go.
seen Mandy?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Linus Roach.
Uh,
Linus Roach played the villain in Mandy.
the main guy,
And what?
like the one that was Bruce Wayne's father in Batman Begins.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Okay, yes. Yeah, she asked me, she was like, isn't he the actor who just died who played Batman? I'm like, no, that was Kevin Conroy.
Yeah. He would have been good too.
Yeah.
Outside choice, but somebody who played an absolutely legendary evil character in a movie, Javier Bardem,
Oh my God.
I think could be
Yeah.
an amazing Man in Black. And then a way outside the box casting choice from the sense of what you would normally expect from this actor. But Henry Thomas is one of the most go-to Mike Flanagan guys.
Right.
And he played Jack Nicholson in Dr. Sleep and was really good at being evil, considering, like, when I think of Henry Thomas, I just want to give him a hug.
Yeah.
Right.
And I almost kind of think like somebody who looks like you want to empathize with them, but is like, you know, secretly very evil would be really good. And
well, I mean, I would say in the beginning, like, he has a boyish face no matter how old he is. And I was just thinking, like, because I started rereading it, that fire scene, you know, where Roland comes upon, he's a younger looking guy at first,
right.
you know, so
yeah.
And of course I was like, let's just cast Rick Michonne and Negan as Roland, Detta, and the Man in Black.
Yes. Well, The Walking Dead is over, so they can just transfer right over.
They need a job.
Yeah. It's inspired casting too. Yeah. Especially after seeing the guy that plays Rick in the Cabinet of Curiosities show, I thought he did a really fantastic job, and I almost feel like
he's a good
Man in
actor.
Black. Yeah. Because you were thinking Negan for Roland, right?
Yeah. No, I was thinking Negan for Man in Black. I mean, he looks just like Javier Bardem.
Oh, okay. I like that too. I like that. Yeah, that's awesome. I want to give credit for the actor that does play the Red Crow or whatever. His name is Zahn McClarnon, so that's that actor's name. I just looked him up.
Yeah.
Did you guys have any other Men in Black or no? Will Smith maybe?
No.
That's a cheesy joke. Sorry.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones, perfect.
No, but I'm sure we're missing a lot. Wait, where is I don't know. You said somebody earlier, it's not written down, and I really thought he could play the Man in Black too, but I forgot his name. I'll see if he comes up in my mind later.
I bet you $50 you'll think of him while we're doing our Rolands.
Yes.
So all right. So for Roland, here's the thing. I think a lot of people that I talked to went with like sort of young, attractive actors or relatively young, attractive actors. And I think that Roland, you really actually need to have like an older man. I know that he's sort of based on Clint Eastwood from
he's supposed to be in his 40s.
Yeah. Clint Eastwood was like if you look at the drawings done in the original books, like I think that was like Bernie Wrightson, right? Did those original drawings?
I believe so.
Yeah. He looks just like Clint Eastwood. Yeah. And like, but that was Clint Eastwood of the late 70s, like early 80s. So he was probably in his like early 40s at that point.
Yeah. I mean, I've read, totally forgot what I was going to say, but yeah, go ahead. I'll think of it.
Do you want to give us some of yours for Roland first?
Yeah, absolutely. So for some of the Rolands that I got from other people, I got Chris Pine. So that's one of those like kind of young. I think he's like too good looking.
He's a little too good looking, I think.
Right. Here's one that I absolutely loved, but I feel like it's not going to happen because it's too good. But Kurt Russell, right?
Do you know something?
Said that.
Kurt Russell just always looks like a friggin' gunslinger in every movie he's in. Like he plays Santa Claus, and you're like, yeah, pull out like a giant like hand cannon and shoot people. I love Kurt Russell. He can do no wrong.
Yes.
You could cast Kurt Russell, and then for flashback scenes, you could use Wyatt Russell.
Boom. Perfect. That's actually very smart. Yeah. Flanagan should be paying us, man. We're doing the work here.
Yeah. I'm sure he's got his people and to think about.
Yeah. So do you have anybody connected to the Flanagan universe?
Not on this list. No. What do you got?
The only one that I have connected to the Flanagan universe, and it's not somebody who anybody would normally think of because he's kind of been like a supporting character, but Michael Trucco, who he was in Hush, and then he was also in a couple of I think he was in Midnight Mass as well.
The dad,
he just kind of gives off this like everyman, like a kind of like a middle-aged everyman look. And by middle-aged, I mean like late 30s, probably mid 40s
Us.
look.
Yeah.
He's a good-looking guy, but like he's connected obviously to
Yeah.
the Flanagan universe.
Then I don't I don't know why that he might not choose Ewan McGregor. Like I think Ewan McGregor has a lot of range, and he's old enough, and he's great in everything. I had wanted to put him on the list, and then I decided not to. It's like, no, he's Danny. He's not. He's another character in the Stephen King multiverse. So maybe that will.
Well, somebody you mentioned the other day was Carl Urban.
Oh yeah,
and I binge watched The Boys over the summer. I cannot look at him as anyone else but Bill the Butcher right now.
Right,
Billy
he could
Butcher,
totally pull it off though.
He would be great. He could be Roland.
Roland has to be. He's not. He is the protagonist and the hero, but he's not a hero.
No,
he's made some terrible. He had to make worse decisions than the Man in Black.
So my number one, I have three top choices.
Go ahead.
My first one that I wrote down with a big smile on my face, and this is one of my favorite actors of the last 5 years, is Timothy Olyphant.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so good in Mandalorian as this like literal gunslinger in like the Wild West of, right? I'm not making that up. That did happen, right?
It did, yes.
You cover Mandalorian with Brian.
Yes,
that's also why I thought about Ewan McGregor, because Obi-Wan is sort of like a gunslinger.
But he's also like, he has that kind of like grizzled face. Was Timothy Olyphant in Justified also?
He was.
Yes.
So like that's like he just kind of gives off that Wild West look. And
he was also in The Good Place as Timothy Olyphant from Justified.
Oh my God.
If anybody ever watches that show.
So Timothy Olyphant was my number one. My number two was for Game of Thrones fans, was Jaime Lannister, Nikolaj Coster-Waldau.
Yes.
Who
agreed.
Did a really good job on Game of Thrones, making you really fucking hate him, and then by the end making you really freaking love him,
and then hate him again.
Yeah.
But so he can definitely
spoiler.
He can definitely do that like duality of the character, like Athena was saying, where like he has to make these horrible decisions where you want to like reach through the book and like punch him, but then he's still a hero in the end. And he's like in his early 50s. I think he's 52. But he certainly doesn't he can certainly pull off like the younger look, but also like a grizzled presence.
Yeah.
And this is why I brought up the Lighthouse and Willem Dafoe. Speaking of like young, good-looking actors, Robert Pattinson. And I know that's an oddball choice.
Very versatile.
It would have seemed like a way more oddball choice if he wasn't just the Batman, because I know a lot of people love that movie and it's in their like top 10 of the year. It's not for me, but he was really good, and he certainly knows how to do like the dark. If you see The Lighthouse, the way he interacts with Willem Dafoe in that movie, I think him as Roland and Dafoe as the Man in Black would be fucking amazing.
I just remembered Ian McShane.
Oh,
Ian McShane.
Yes.
As the Man in Black.
That's inspired.
Yeah, it's inspired. I know I read it somewhere, so like I was like, oh wow, he would be really good because he can, look old but look young at the same time. Like he looks ageless.
Agreed.
Almost.
He looks like in the John Wick movies. He looks the same way he does in Deadwood, like the same age.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really, really good answers. And Timothy Olyphant, he kind of gets typecast as like the cowboy.
Cowboy.
Right? Even in Fargo, he's a cowboy in the Fargo TV series, which I highly recommend. I keep referencing that show on here, and I think everyone should check that show out. It's fucking
He's
awesome.
also funny as hell. And the
Right.
best part of Santa Clarita Diet, which was canceled way too early on Netflix.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the only others that I can add to that list are not suggestions that I myself made. I never ended up coming up with my own Roland because I just didn't come up with one in time. But Thomas Jane, my friend.
I saw a lot of people mention him. Yeah.
Yeah, he would be good.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, a lot of people said Vigo for Man in Black, but then one person was like, "Hey, what about Vigo for Roland too?"
Yeah. We just thought he was too old. Like
Yeah.
that we couldn't get him young enough. I mean, maybe with a beard, and the hat. I don't know.
Yeah.
We could.
Then he'd be too sexy because he'd look like Aragorn,
We would love it. Carl Urban and Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah, like if they were casting this movie back when they were casting The Lord of the Rings, then
Oh, yeah.
Viggo would play Roland, and the elf guy with the bow and arrow, Legolas, could play Eddie. It would be perfect.
Yeah.
And-
Orlando Bloom.
Him too. Him too. Yeah.
There you go. And Andy Serkis could be Oi, so perfect. You got it all
Yeah,
covered
yeah.
right there. All right. Well,
Johnny Depp
what do you?
Someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really appreciate you
Oh,
guys doing
that's-
this. What's up?
You said Johnny Depp, and my mind immediately went to Johnny Depp was already playing a character like this in the Fantastic Beasts movie, and then I went, wait, but he got replaced by, and then I went, oh, Mads Mikkelsen should play the Man in Black. Oh my
Yes.
god, like
Yeah.
that's the perfect Man in
Yeah.
Black, Mads
That's-
Mikkelsen.
That's pretty damn inspired
Like
too. Yeah. It's funny because there's such a good pool of actors that we just referenced here, and a lot of people have sort of recommended. And yet the thing is, they're probably not going to cast. Like maybe we'll get one casting right out of this whole thing.
Yeah.
You know.
We'll see, right?
Yeah.
Julian
Exciting.
Julian Hilliard. Do you want to play this character for the next 8 years? Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll be 22 years old. You have children of your own. Yeah. Well, that's our show for today for the Dark Tower. Athena, thank you so much for coming on. If you ever want to come back on again and talk about the books that you've read too, we need more of that on this channel.
Okay, yeah. As soon as I
Yeah.
finish the Gunslinger, and I already got it on Audible for him.
Yeah, Pete's given me like a list of like 100 books to read
Really?
for all of the authors that he interviews,
That's right.
and so logically, I'm going to end up rereading 7 books that I've already read. At least,
I have Grady Hendrix's business card.
yeah.
I should get
Yes.
him.
Yeah, I agree. We eventually do have to get him on the channel because I know that even his book has been turned into a show too. My Best Friend's Exorcism.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a movie. Yeah, we haven't even
movie.
watched that yet on Prime. Yeah.
Yeah.
The book was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you guys for taking the time on this Sunday morning to discuss this. And for those of you that have watched at home, let us know what you think. Do you think that we've come up with some inspired choices? What are your choices for these characters too? And who's going to play the TikTok man? But anyway, that's it for the Lastercast, and we will see you guys real soon. Thanks. Sorry,